The Young and the Restless update for Tuesday, November 25th, reveals that Sharon Newman will pray for a miracle while Abbott family problems play out. Adam Newman will also have to follow orders, so here's what Y&R fans can expect. Since Noah Newman is still missing in Los Angeles, it'll be up to Sharon and Nick Newman to find him. Things could be tricky thanks to Matt Clark, aka Mitch Bacall, and whatever demands he makes. But Nick and Sharon will do their part to make sure Noah gets out of this alive. While Noah and Sienna Bacall remain stuck in captivity together, Sharon and Nick's hunt will apparently lead them to the right storage unit facility. As Sharon hopes for a miraculous outcome and prays Noah will be found, Nick will spot a hint that sends them in the right direction. It hopefully won't be long until Nick and Sharon are prying open the door that Noah and Sienna are currently stuck behind. While Sharon and Nick hope for a Thanksgiving family reunion, the Abbotts will have some issues as they prepare for their Turkey Day gathering. There could be some bickering about how to handle Victor Newman and the AI threat he brings to the table. As for Claire Newman, she may face some uncomfortable moments if Harrison Abbott begs her to join Thanksgiving dinner. Kyle Abbott may think that's a great idea and pressure Claire to say yes for Harrison's sake. Regardless, Claire will indeed join the Abbott family festivities, which will also be attended by Ashley Abbott once she comes home during the week of November 24th to 28th. In the meantime, Adam will meet with Victor to discuss their plot against Billy Abbott, which still involves getting Jill Abbott to back out of her Abbott Communications investment and then blowing up the news at the launch bash. Even if Victor and Adam discuss some other options in case that plan doesn't work out, they'll be in agreement about making Billy miserable. Adam will be given more orders as Victor continues on his vengeful path. Naturally, Victor's real goal will be to create the ultimate diversion. This is about unleashing a nightmare for Billy so that Jack Abbott doesn't see his own Jabot nightmare coming until it's too late. The Young and the Restless, spoilers say, there's much more Abbott chaos to come, so stick with us for updates on all the twists and turns. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless scoop for the week of November 24th reveals Phyllis Summers will get an eyeful of Daniel Romalotti and Tessa Porter. Also coming up, Jack Abbott will be thrilled his family is together for Thanksgiving. Plus, Victor Newman will give Adam Newman the go-ahead, and Sharon Newman will pray for her son's safe return. Viewers should note, the Y&R will air a repeat episode of Danny Romalotti and Christine Blair's first wedding on Thanksgiving Day. And the show will be preempted on Friday, November 28th for college football. But new episodes will return on Monday, December 1st. Y&R spoilers tease, Victor won't exactly be in the holiday spirit. Instead, he'll tell Adam to launch their attack on Billy Abbott. The mustache will also keep Nick Newman's issues in LA a secret from Nikki Newman. Is he afraid she'll start hitting the bottle? Speaking of Nick, he and Sharon will hunt for Noah Newman. As Sharon says a prayer to God, begging him to locate her son, Nick will see something strange. He'll tell Sharon to come over and take a look at something. But will he discover a clue to Noah's whereabouts? Meanwhile, Jack and Tracy Abbott will be delighted that Ashley Abbott is home for the holidays. "Happy Thanksgiving," she'll say to her family, who are gathered in the living room. Jack will point out that since they're all together, it will be a happy one indeed. Other Y&R spoilers tease Danny, and Cricket will thank their wedding guests at the reception, and then head to Paris for their honeymoon. Plus, Lily Winters will talk about the importance of family at the Winters Thanksgiving celebration. Finally, after Daniel and Tessa successfully perform the song they wrote for Danny and Cricket, she'll tell him she can't think of anything that would have made the day more perfect. However, he'll say he can, and he'll plant a kiss on her. So, will Tessa kiss him back? And how? The two of them will stand beside the GCAC bar, their arms wrapped around each other as they smooch. Then Phyllis will come downstairs, and she'll be stunned by what she sees. But what's she going to do about it? Stay tuned. Hey Y&R fans, are you enjoying the new CBS Sudser Beyond the Gates? Then make sure you join our free Facebook group. Keep reading the Soap Scoop for Young and the Restless spoilers and news. And make sure to also join our Y&R Facebook group or leave us a reply in our comments section. But if you miss an episode, don't fret. You can watch The Young and the Restless online at cbs.com. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 3 weeks, November 24th to December 12th, reveal that a monstrous threat will loom over Genoa City while Audra Charles faces her boiling point and Jack Abbott has one last hope. The week of November 24-28 will bring some unsettling moments for Phyllis Summers, since she'll spot Daniel Romalotti Jr. and Tessa Porter making out after Christine Romalotti and Danny Romalotti's wedding. Phyllis will also shed some baggage in a stripping session with Kane Ashby, but he obviously won't be getting over Lily Winters anytime soon. Lily will interact with Kane at Crimson Lights, where he'll apparently prepare meals for those in need of a helping hand this Thanksgiving. Kane won't fool Lily into thinking he's suddenly an amazing guy, since he's made too many mistakes for her to overlook at this point. Of course, Phyllis will keep preying on Kane's worst impulses while he continues working to prove she stole the AI program, but they'll have some fun along the way. There's a chance this little game could turn into something deeper, so we'll see how far Kane and Phyllis's romance will go. While Nick Newman and Sharon Newman are in Los Angeles trying to locate Noah Newman and Sienna Bacall, there'll be a Thanksgiving celebration back at the Newman Ranch. Victor Newman will hide any further Matt Clark, aka Mitch Bacall, updates he receives, and just work to make this a nice gathering for his loved ones. Ashley Abbott's homecoming is also on the horizon, so look for her to rejoin the Abbotts just in time for Thanksgiving. Since Claire Newman will attend the Abbott party this year, that may give her an opportunity to talk to Billy Abbott and Sally Spectra about Audra's shady past. After YNR airs a 1990 Ununcorked episode on Thursday, November 27th, they'll preempt the show for sports coverage on Friday, November 28th. During the week of December 5th, Nick and Sharon will express relief following Noah and Sienna's rescue. A big Matt takedown plot is brewing, so maybe Sienna could help the cops sink Mitch on drug trafficking charges. Although Sienna, Noah, Sharon, and Nick will head to Genoa City thinking the Matt nightmare is over, they'll be wrong about that. Matt's going to wiggle out of whatever tight spot he lands in and plot a return to GC soon. In the meantime, Claire and Audra's rivalry will get even worse. It seems likely Claire's going to push Audra too far and perhaps realize she's underestimated her opponent. Audra's anger will boil over in the coming episodes, so Holden Novak may worry about what she'll do to Claire and how far she'll go off the rails. As for Billy and Sally, their launch party will remain Victor and Adam Newman's target as part of their Abbott family distraction. Can Sally and Billy stop the Newmans from turning their company's kickoff into a total disaster? The week of December 8-12 may bring Jack Abbott's last hope of stopping Victor's attack on Jabot. Adam has been contemplating the idea of standing against Victor, but will he actually have the guts to do it? Perhaps the better question is, will it even matter considering Victor always does what he wants anyway? If Adam decides not to rock the boat and stay loyal to Victor, Jack is sure to feel betrayed. Adam considers Jack a friend, but their bond could take a major hit if he helps Victor go after Jack and his family. Matt's monstrous threat will also unleash some mayhem once he's officially back in GC, so all the Newmans will have to stay on guard. The Young and the Restless spoilers say fans will see some shocking news and fierce face-offs, so stay tuned for all the excitement. Friday's all-new episode of The Young and the Restless finally gave viewers the long-awaited wedding between Danny and Christine. After many years, the duo was finally ready to tie the knot again, and although many faces returned for the event, like Trisha Cast's Nina and Patty Weaver's Gina, not everyone was thrilled for the happy couple. Phyllis did as Phyllis usually does, and she made her presence and distaste for the wedding abundantly clear. However, this didn't sit well with the sister of the groom, and Gina was on the offensive, ready to shut down any of Phyllis's tired antics. Gina didn't want Phyllis anywhere near the wedding ceremony site. She ordered her to stay as far away as possible and wanted Phyllis nowhere near the building. However, since Phyllis lived there and Kane was the owner, there was really no concrete way to keep her from crashing the event. Ultimately, she did leave, but not before verbally sparring with Gina, like viewers were getting a glimpse into the past. Gina accused Phyllis of being jealous of Christine, and Phyllis seemed pleased to have the opportunity to spar with Gina as if no time had passed. Luckily for Phyllis and Gina, Lauren arrived in the middle of their confrontation and successfully ushered Phyllis away from the wedding. Despite the exit, Gina and Phyllis's face-off left a lasting impression on viewers watching at home. Many spectators of Danny and Christine's nuptials couldn't help but race to social media to share their unfiltered takes on Gina and Phyllis going toe-to-toe, as if it were a nostalgic treat. "I loved it! So well done! It was great to have Patty Weaver back too. Loved Gina's sparring with Phyllis, just like old times," one ex-user tweeted. "It was wonderful to see Gina and Nina, and Gina taking on Phyllis was like she never left," another fan wrote. "Gina's hate for Phyllis is the best thing about this piss-poor wedding." #YR, a viewer said. "I just want to see Gina drag Phyllis out by her hair into the street. Is that wrong? #Young and the Restless," one fan asked. "LOL, gonna love Gina. Happy to see Patty Weaver again. Gina still despite Phyllis for many years. Phyllis better stay out of their wedding. She is not invited." "YR, a viewer exclaimed. "The best part in tomorrow's show is Gina acting like she's still running the GCAC and wanting to kick Phyllis out LMAO. YR, another fan commented. "Phyllis and Gina scene is priceless. Phyllis is better watch Al Mafia. Gina talks like she's in the mafia," one viewer stated. Phyllis' final attempt to convince Danny to break things off with Christine failed, and the couple got hitched. However, despite what could have been a massive heartbreak for Genoa City's expert hacker, Phyllis seems to be moving on with Kane. Although Kane and Phyllis have been playing mind games back and forth, they finally took things to the next level, giving in to the chemistry, and they slept together. Phyllis did steal Kane's AI program, and despite his suspicions about her involvement, he seems poised to move forward with her, leaving Lily behind. Eventually, Phyllis will have to own her role in the theft of the program, but for now, she's content on playing things out with Kane. Once Victor unleashes his attack on Jack and Jabot, leaving Phyllis in charge of the company, she won't be able to deny her involvement. However, until that happens, she'll dance her tango of temptation with Kane until her feet fall off. Both she and Kane know that the other is playing the long game, but it's entirely possible that genuine feelings will develop along the way, making the fallout of her actions more complicated. Whatever happens with Phyllis in the future remains up in the air, but one thing is certain: an activated Phyllis is the most entertaining version of the character, and viewers can't help but agree. Seeing Gina and Phyllis digging into each other like no time had passed was a welcome refresh for a soap that sometimes feels like nothing ever happens. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Phyllis Summers may sabotage Daniel Romalotti Jr.'s married woman obsession. Phyllis seems poised to warn her son away from Tessa Porter and try to shut this romance down. In Y&R's November 24th episode, Phyllis will come around the corner at the GCAC and spot something shocking. Following their wedding reception performance and some close moments, Daniel will share a passionate kiss with Tessa. That'll lead to Phyllis witnessing the smooch along with Kane Ashby, who may advise her to stay out of her adult children's love lives. Kane might argue that the heart wants what it wants and suggest Daniel is capable of making his own decisions. Of course, Phyllis has never been great at holding her tongue in situations like this. Since Phyllis always thinks she knows best, she'll no doubt corner Daniel for a lecture sooner or later. Phyllis initially seemed pleased over Tessa's friendship with Daniel since she was concerned about him following Heather Stevens' demise. However, Daniel and Tessa's bond has moved out of friendly territory now, so Phyllis has good reasons to be concerned. We can't forget that Phyllis has been around for all the highs and lows of Tessa's love story with Mariah Copeland. Phyllis has seen for herself the messy challenges that Mariah and Tessa have already overcome, so she may have a hunch that Tessa's interest in Daniel will only be temporary. Perhaps Phyllis will remind Daniel that there are plenty of fish in the sea and urge him to find one who isn't married to someone she'll inevitably reunite with. Daniel will be setting himself up for another round of heartbreak from Phyllis's perspective. It's doubtful that Daniel will listen, so Phyllis might try warning Tessa away from Daniel next. Phyllis might urge Tessa to see that she's wasting Daniel's time and give her a push to wait for Mariah's recovery. If all else fails, Phyllis could do what she does best and resort to creative scheming. We all know how Phyllis loves sabotage plots, so she may come up with other strategies to pump the brakes on Daniel and Tessa's connection. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Phyllis will mull over Daniel's latest romantic news and try to make some updates to his love life. So stay tuned. The Young and the Restless wedding of the year, Danny and Crickets today, continues. Phyllis mostly stayed away from the festivities, but the reception is still to come. While you wait to find out what she does or doesn't do, Laura Lee Bell, who plays Cricket, is taking viewers on a behind-the-scenes tour of the big day. Still so much more to see. Don't miss the wedding reception. New dress, new, beautiful song, heartfelt toasts, dancing, etc. Bell shared in an Instagram post. I can smell those donuts, Michael Graziadei, whose character Daniel had the honor of walking the bride up to her groom, so the ceremony could fully begin. So honored to be in the room where it happened, posted Valerie Pettiford. The actress was more than in the room. She and co-star Trisha Cast earned Soap Central's Performers of the Week for Y&R for Amy and Nina tearing into Kane for his indirect role in the murders of their respective sons, Damien and Chance. Phyllis making her presence known at the reception is all but a given. After all, she resides at the Genoa City Athletic Club. Initially, it was suspected that she had sent Chris the bouquet of mums that nearly ruined her big day. Chris is allergic to mums, but fortunately, she tossed them out of the room as soon as she realized what she was holding. Nina made sure that her bestie didn't feel any ill effects and helped her get ready to marry the man she loves. Lauren beelined it over to Phyllis and accused her of being behind the floral mishap. Phyllis denied any involvement, and guess what? This time, Phyllis was off the hook. But, understandably, Lauren went there. After all, Phyllis has made no secret of her disdain for the bride. Esther inadvertently sent the bride the unwanted posies, which Nina discovered in Friday's episode. However, Phyllis is still in a position to make Danny and Cricket's reception memorable for the wrong reasons. On the Monday, November 24th, 2025 episode of The Young and the Restless, Cricket and Danny celebrate their marriage. Daniel collaborates with Tessa, and Phyllis makes a promise to Daniel. Now that the I-do's have been exchanged, Danny and Cricket and their family and friends are set to celebrate the couple once again, being Mr. and Mrs. Danny Romalotti. On Monday's show, the post-ceremony party begins. Will Phyllis return to the GCAC and cause some havoc? She stayed away from the actual ceremony, and she's actually not responsible for the mums that were sent to Cricket, who's allergic to them. We learned late in Friday's episode that Esther was the culprit, yet she apparently had no idea that Cricket would react to the bouquet the way that she did. Are Tessa and Daniel taking their friendship to the next level? Time will tell. On Monday's show, watch for Daniel to collaborate with his guitar teacher. Will they bring a musical element to Danny and Cricket's big day? They certainly have enough talent to make that happen. Tessa's a beautiful singer, and Daniel has proven to be a terrific pupil in terms of the guitar. Danny sang at his and Cricket's pre-wedding party. Might his son bring the gift of music to the reception? Danny and Cricket's marriage vows aren't the only promises being made. On Monday's show, watch for Phyllis to make a promise to Daniel. Could that be a promise not to interfere in Cricket and Danny's big day? Cricket enlisted Daniel last summer, asking him to keep his mom away from her wedding. While the ceremony is over, there's still the reception that Phyllis could ruin. Maybe Phyllis will promise Daniel to butt out of his love life? Phyllis is convinced that her son will get hurt if he pines away for Tessa, as she's still in love with her wife, Mariah. The Young and the Restless spoilers update for the week of November 24-28 reveals that Abby Winters will smell trouble while Lily Winters teaches a lesson and Ashley Abbott spills some news. At the GCAC, Phyllis Summers will be the center of attention when she gives a toast at Christine Blair and Danny Romalotti wedding reception, but she'll actually say some pretty nice things. After Phyllis hits the sheets with Kane Ashby again, they'll come downstairs to find Daniel Romalotti Jr. making out with Tessa Porter. Next, Victor Newman will go over what he expects Adam Newman to do as they gear up for their bold move against Billy Abbott, which is part of a larger plot to create a distraction while going after Jabot. There'll also be some escalating Matt Clark, aka Mitch Bacall mayhem in Los Angeles, where Nick Newman and Sharon Newman will work on finding Noah Newman and Sienna Bacall in captivity. Victor will hide some things from Nikki Newman about Matt and this kidnapping crisis. It sounds like Victor will want the focus to be on a blissful Thanksgiving celebration, but Abby can usually tell when her dad's not divulging all the facts. Abby may smell trouble when it comes to what Victor's keeping quiet. Devin Winters will also find himself deep in thought and may end up worried about Lily, so Abby will serve as his confidant. Lily will ultimately teach the Winters family a lesson about coming together, so she may make sure they squeeze in some bonding time this Thanksgiving. Y&R fans will also see Lily cross paths with Kane at the coffee house, where he'll apparently be doing community service and helping prepare meals for those who need them most. Although Kane will be doing something nice for the people of Genoa City, Lily may wonder if he's just putting on a show for her benefit. Once Ashley returns home from Paris, she'll have some updates for her relatives at the Abbott mansion. Ashley will hopefully reveal that her continued therapy went well and that she's in a good place when it comes to her mental stability. As the week winds down, Y&R will air an encore episode of Danny and Christine's first marriage ceremony, which involved some Hawaii fun back in 1990. You can catch that repeat on Thursday, November 27th. The show will finish off the week with a preemption for sports coverage on Friday, November 28th, so there'll be a little break from the GC action. Victor pulls Adam into his next strike against Billy, while Nick and Sharon intensify their search for Noah in LA, and the Abbotts prepare for a tense Thanksgiving. The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Tuesday, November 25th, tease a dramatic day far from Genoa City as the search for Noah intensifies and Victor pulls Adam into a new battle. With danger escalating in Los Angeles and tension rising back home, the Newmans find themselves stretched to the breaking point on both coasts. Meanwhile, Thanksgiving drama begins simmering at the Abbott mansion, ensuring no one escapes the holiday without fireworks. Victor never waits for pressure to mount. He steps into it and redirects it. On Tuesday, he turns to Adam with a clear directive: help him strike back against Billy. It's a move that immediately places Adam at the center of yet another Newman-Abbott clash. Adam has tried to keep himself at a cautious distance from Victor's machinations due to Chelsea, but this request pulls him right back into the fold. Victor frames it as a strategy, but Adam knows better. When Victor calls it family business, the stakes are always personal. Billy has pushed the wrong buttons one too many times, and Victor expects Adam to help him hit back with precision. Across the country in Los Angeles, Nick and Sharon push through mounting fear as they work to track down Noah. His disappearance with Sienna has escalated into a crisis they can no longer rationalize or explain away. Every new lead brings tension, every delay raises the stakes, and every hour puts Noah further out of reach. Being away from Genoa City cuts them off from their usual support network, forcing them to rely on instinct, persistence, and their shared determination to bring their son home safely. The deeper they dig, the clearer it becomes that Noah is in real danger, and that someone has gone to great lengths to keep him hidden. Their search becomes the emotional anchor of the episode, with both parents balancing rising panic and the fierce resolve only Newman family members can summon under pressure. Back home, the Abbotts begin preparing for Thanksgiving, but the holiday mood is anything but peaceful. Tension simmers as old issues linger unresolved and new conflicts hover on the edges of their celebration. Even Ashley manages to come home for the big day. The CBS soap star is doing some reflecting. The Young and the Restless star, Jason Thompson, celebrated his birthday with gratitude and a bit of a truth bomb. In an Instagram post, Thompson shared a message with fans in honor of his birthday, which was November 20th. The Y&R star posed for a selfie to mark his 49th birthday. Thompson revealed that he's always had some PTSD surrounding his career because the business is so fleeting and things can change in a second. Because of that, I've always hoped I'd be working on my birthday, and yesterday I was, surrounded by incredible people I consider friends, collaborators of the highest level, telling stories that have been unfolding for longer than I've been alive, he wrote. The CBS soap star expressed gratitude for starting another year and his excitement for what's to come, including entertaining fans. Then he gave a shout-out to his alter ego, who at times can be very misunderstood, his fans, and his Y&R family. To my partner in this alternate life, a character I am stoked to embody every day I step on set. Billy Abbott, and to the entire Y&R cast and crew, producing team, the studios, and the networks in every country that airs our show. The fans thank you for allowing me to be a part of this remarkable, ongoing history. Love you all, Thompson declared. Several of Thompson's current Y&R co-stars and former General Hospital co-stars popped up in the comments to show their love and appreciation for him. Happy birthday, Jason. You are a light and a blessing. Your attitude of professionalism and appreciation brings so much to the work, and I'm so proud to know and love you, stated Beth Maitland. Y&R's Tracy Bregman kicked off the tributes from his current co-stars, wishing Thompson a happy birthday and calling him amazing. Zuleika Silver also wished him a happy birthday, while Courtney Hope said it was an honor to work with Thompson, and Melissa Claire Egan left red heart emojis. Thompson's former GH tributes began with Finola Hughes saying, "Happy birthday, Jason. Adore you. Always will." Kimberly McCullough gave him a birthday shout-out, and Maurice Bernard was a fan of the picture Thompson posted. "Happy birthday, brother. Being on set is my goal for every B-Day too. Ha ha," shared Rory Gibson. Although she didn't comment on his Instagram post, Michelle Stafford sent Thompson a birthday message that included a blast from his past. There was a lot of love for Thompson as he celebrated another year around the sun and gears up for a significant birthday next year. Phyllis makes a choice no one expected, reshaping Danny and Christine's wedding celebration and shifting the emotional center of their long-awaited day. In the November 24th episode of The Young and the Restless, Danny and Christine's long-awaited wedding reception should have been an uncomplicated celebration, a moment for family, music, and long-deferred happiness. Instead, the night took on a different emotional charge when Phyllis made the kind of choice no one expected. Rather than destroying the evening, she redirected it, forcing everyone in the room, including herself, to see the couple's new beginning through a different lens. Her move didn't just interrupt the festivities, it reframed them. The GCAC reception opened with pure joy as Danny and Christine soaked in their long-overdue celebration. Gina's toast brought back early memories. Nina shared tributes layered with history, and Lauren and Michael highlighted the decades of love, loss, and reconnection that made this day possible. Upstairs, Christine and her closest friends prepared for the party with emotional clarity and relief that the earlier flower fiasco was simply Esther's well-meaning mistake. Downstairs, Daniel and Tessa faced a different kind of pressure. Their original plan to perform a song together unraveled as Daniel's nerves took over, until Tessa pushed him back into the moment. Their duet became one of the reception's highlights, softening the room and giving father and son a rare, vulnerable connection. This is where Phyllis takes center stage emotionally in the episode. After spending the day spiraling over Danny and Christine's reunion, Phyllis returned to the reception at the worst possible moment, or so it seemed. Overhearing Daniel praise Christine as the best thing for his father could have ignited one of Phyllis's signature explosions. Instead, she surprised everyone, picking up a glass and offering a toast that shifted the entire tone of the night. Her words weren't cutting or manipulative. They were the opposite. An acknowledgement that Danny and Christine always belonged together, and a promise to step out of the way. Whether she meant it fully or used it to convince herself is another story. But in that moment, she reframed the day rather than ruining it. Phyllis's choice didn't end with a toast. Back in her suite, she and Kane channeled the day's emotional chaos into something impulsive and passionate. Their encounter became its own kind of turning point, not necessarily about romance, but about shedding what they were clinging to. Meanwhile, Daniel and Tessa deepened their connection with a kiss that suggested their friendship is continuing to shift into something more. When Phyllis saw them together later, her reaction made it clear she might be letting go of Danny. But she isn't letting go of Daniel's choices without a fight. As confetti fell and Danny and Christine left for Paris, the reception ended the way it began, with love and hope, but Phyllis's move ensured the night will be remembered for much more than the wedding. Did Phyllis finally win everyone over with her speech? On The Young and the Restless, November 24th, Phyllis crashed Christine and Danny's wedding. But it wasn't what they anticipated. Instead of roasting them, she actually toasted them. She might have also redeemed herself in more ways than one. After marrying Danny, Christine returned to her hotel room on Monday's episode. Nina and Lauren accompanied her. Nina informed them that it wasn't Phyllis who sent the flowers that Cricket was allergic to. She overheard Esther saying during the ceremony that she sent the flowers. The reason why Esther chose those flowers is that she loved the colors. She wasn't aware of Cricket's allergies. Cricket got a good laugh, which is what she needed after all those nerves. Well, what do you know? Phyllis didn't send the flowers after all. She was telling the truth. This is not the only time she redeemed herself. Phyllis and Kane returned to the Genoa City Athletic Club. Phyllis grabbed a glass of champagne and held it up in the air. She told the guests that she also wanted to propose a toast. Understandably, Christine and Danny looked nervous. However, Christine allowed Phyllis to speak her mind, as she would be thoroughly entertained. Phyllis admitted that she's never seen Danny smile this much. She became emotional as she shared that she had spoken to someone who said it was healthy to move on from old relationships. Then, she shared that the people who never moved on were Cricket and Danny. But she could see they were meant to be. And Christine finally got her man. She held up her glass as she said, "Cheers, everyone!" Danny apologized, but Christine was pleasantly surprised by Phyllis's speech. First, she didn't do anything that would ruin Danny and Christine's big day. She didn't cause any drama, nor did she start an uproar during the reception. She simply wanted to give them a kind gesture. Finally, she was able to move on and give the couple her blessing. It was then discovered that she wasn't the one who sent the flowers. Maybe Phyllis has finally turned a new leaf. Of course, she hasn't been redeemed just yet. She's making questionable moves when it comes to Kane. Who knows what her plans are for working with him? Thanksgiving episode details, and when to tune in for surprise guests and heartwarming fun. The families on CBS daytime soaps are gathering around the table for Thanksgiving this year, with the young and the restless, the bold and the beautiful, and Beyond the Gates all having episodes that celebrate the holiday. Fans won't want to miss the cheer and goodwill as the characters share good eats and what they're most thankful for. We can also anticipate a few surprises along the way. Y&R has been celebrating everlasting love thanks to Danny and Christine's wedding. The soap starts its Thanksgiving week by putting the finishing touches on the couple's festivities on Monday, November 24th, as Danny's son Daniel shares a duet with Tessa. But come Tuesday, November 25th, viewers will be heading to the Abbott Mansion, which has the potential to get a bit messy considering the guest list. Claire's invitation hasn't been rescinded despite her and Kyle's breakup. He followed her all the way to Los Angeles in an attempt to win her heart back. It didn't work out for him, but her place at the table is still very much secure. Harrison's status as both an Abbott and a Newman has a lot to do with that, as does the hope that one day Claire and Kyle might reconcile. In the meantime, passing the green beans might be a bit awkward, but what's a family get-together without a few bumps here and there? Billy, Sally, and Tracy will also be in attendance at Jack and Diane's. For an extra dose of family fun, the long-awaited appearance of Ashley Abbott will happen during Y&R's Thanksgiving Spotlight, which will stretch into Wednesday, November 26th's episode as well. Viewers can also count on Lily reminding the Winters about the importance of family. With the loss of Damien over the summer, they have much to reflect on as the year draws to a close. Then, on Thanksgiving, Y&R fans will be treated to Danny and Christine's destination wedding from November 16th, 1990, when they said, "I do," in Hawaii. Though the drama with a now-deceased Luna isn't quiet behind the Forresters and the Spencers, they are moving on to the holidays. B&B's Thanksgiving Fair will take place on Wednesday, November 26th, with Steffi hosting her parents, Ridge and Taylor, at the Cliff House with Finn, Kelly, and Hayes. Steffi's expected to have a surprise guest make an appearance at her table. If it's not Ridge, since one would assume he'd be spending Thanksgiving with Brooke, perhaps it's finally time for Thomas to come home. However, we do know that the likelihood of it being Luna is incredibly low. Miles away from Malibu, at everyone's favorite Italian restaurant in Los Angeles, Deacon and Sheila will be seating Daphne and Carter. The perfumer and COO have been frequenting Il Giardino for open mic night, but now that they'll be having dinner with the restaurant owners. Admittedly, it's a little out of left field, but the holidays do have a way of bringing people together. Though mixed in with speeches on what everyone's thankful for, we'll probably see Taylor and Deacon thinking about one another too, especially if Sheila continues to gush about how grateful she is that the good doctor saved her marriage, and Ridge asks Taylor about her love life. It's a big celebration for Danny and Christine. The Monday, November 24th, spoiler photos for The Young and the Restless focus on the continuation of Danny and Christine's wedding. On Friday, they said their I do's. Now it's time to celebrate the couple entering this new phase of their lives. The reception will feature Daniel and Tessa's original song, which they will perform for the happy husband and wife. In other related news, Phyllis interrupts the reception. These first images zero in on Danny and Christine, absolutely glowing over the fact that they have finally become husband and wife again. They endured Phyllis's antics and Esther's flower bouquet, which contained mums, causing Christine to have an allergic reaction right before the ceremony started. The icing on the cake, in the form of the reception, starts. This is the time when Christine and Danny can relax and bask in the love and support of their guests. As the officiant and the matron of honor, Michael and Lauren prepare to toast the newlywed couple. As you click through the images, you'll see the guests are practically surrounding the newlyweds in a kumbaya half-circle of sorts. Ruro. Phyllis, once again, shows up at the GCAC, where she lives, to share her 2 cents about Danny and Christine. According to the Daily Spoilers, Phyllis makes a promise to Daniel. Hopefully, the promise is to avoid stealing Danny and Christine's thunder and making this moment about herself. Phyllis is holding a glass of champagne, and so it appears as if she will toast Danny and Cricket, aka the Bug. Will she surprise everyone with what she is about to say? She just might. After all, she is in somewhat of a good place right now. She and Kane just connected on a whole new level. And if Victor can just get with it and unleash the AI software superweapon on Jabot, then she can become the company's new visionary leader, right? This year, Daniel and Tessa bonded as the singer-songwriter shared her knowledge about music and the guitar with her grieving friend. In the process, they have sprouted feelings for each other. But on Monday, the 2 collaborators will perform an original song for Danny and Christine. It appears that the guests are having a great time at the wedding and the subsequent reception. Longtime friends Tracy and Amy are in attendance. Amy and Esther will apparently set the tone on the dance floor. Devin and Abby will also hit the dance floor. Look for Danny and Nate to chat as well. Finally, we assume this is post-reception, when Christine and Danny adjourn to a hotel room. They share some quality alone time, celebrate their love together, and reminisce about their perfect wedding day. Young and the Restless saw a couple of Sharon Newman's enemies return in the last few years. And so, we're wondering if Y&R might bring back more of the demons from Sharon's past, dead or alive, to torment her. And given that head writer Josh Griffith seems intent on terrorizing Sharon to death with villains from her past, we're going to talk about who else might come back. So first, with Matt Clark back, many fans are clamoring for the return of his semi-unwilling partner in crime, Trisha Dennison. Now, if you weren't watching back then, let's be real, Matt's a creep. He's a rapist who terrorized and assaulted Sharon, and he framed Nick Newman to go to prison. It was Trisha who helped Matt frame Nick on a drug charge. But Matt and Trisha weren't in love or anything. You know, they weren't coupled up. In fact, Matt drugged and raped Trisha and drove her pretty much insane. And at one point, to her credit, she actually stopped Matt from assaulting and raping Sharon again. And then Trisha got Matt into her car and drove off a cliff. Thelma and Louise style. Luckily, Trisha survived, but Matt sustained these awful injuries, and he was presumed dead. That was when he had pulled his breathing tube out to try and frame Nick for his death. After that happened, Trisha did a whole lot more bad stuff. Matt's ghost was basically a delusion in her brain, telling her wicked things to do. Kind of like how Cameron Kirsten was that hallucination telling Sharon things to do. And Ian Ward's turned up talking to Mariah Copeland recently. Also, Trisha drugged Victor Newman and raped him, and then beat herself so that she was all bruised and battered and could go to the police. Trisha accused Victor of raping her, and he went to prison because of Trisha. She later crashed Victoria Newman's wedding wearing an identical gown to the bride and held the groom at gunpoint after locking Victoria in a closet. When she got loose, Trisha tried to shoot the bride, but wound up killing the groom, and she was sent to a psychiatric hospital. Young and the Restless could have pulled off an epic double twist. They could have brought in Tamara Braun to play Trisha. But based on Sienna's private conversations with her husband Mitch, aka Matt, that's not what they did. Not unless Trisha had plastic surgery and is lying to Matt and running a long con on him. If Tamara was recast Trisha, she wouldn't be grilling Mitch, asking him if he's really Matt Clark. But they still could bring her back. You know, have Trisha on the loose and stalking Matt for revenge at the same time he's stalking Sharon and Nick and Noah Newman for revenge. That would be clever and soapy and fun, but Josh Griffith is not a particularly creative thinker, as we all know. So, another creep from Sharon's past is less horrible than Matt or Cameron, but could be a worthy adversary, depending on how they wrote his return. So, this guy, Frank Barrett, pressured Sharon into sex in high school and got her pregnant with twins Mariah and Cassie Newman. And Frank was horrified when Sharon told him she was pregnant, and he's like, "Nope, I'm out." He wanted no part of it. You probably remember somebody had stolen Mariah to give to Ian Ward, and he raised her, and Sharon never knew about Mariah. And then the other twin, Cassie, went up for adoption, but Sharon later got her back and raised her. So yeah, Frank was a jerk and a deadbeat dad, but not evil. At least not yet. But fast forward 20 years, and he came back to blackmail Sharon and Frank, also trying to get closer to Cassie. After years of being a deadbeat, he was showing some interest in his daughter. So Frank was extorting Sharon for money, and at that point, Cassie didn't know anything about her bio dad. And then Sharon begged Frank to leave her alone and just go away. But he didn't. And he did get a payoff, but then he wanted more, and he stalked, and he menaced Sharon trying to get what he wanted, and she was distraught, and he kept pressuring her, and this was all affecting Nick and Sharon's marriage. What had been kind of shaky and on the rocks at that point. But you know what? Frank was killed by Sharon's other psycho stalker, Cameron, who then framed Sharon for his murder. There was a whole thing where they thought Frank's body was really Cameron for a while, and it turned out later they figured out it was Frank. So Sharon was arrested, and it was a total nightmare, and later Cameron was killed, but then he returned, after all those years. Which was just, 2 years ago, and then Sharon stabbed him to death, hopefully killing Cameron once and for all. So yeah, Young and the Restless would definitely bring back another of her dead exes. Frank could turn up alive just like Matt and Cameron to terrify and torment Sharon. I mean, if Josh Griffith is just recycling old enemies, I guess, keep them coming. We could have had Frank back after years with a bigger grudge. And maybe he shows up and decides to kill Sharon because he can't kill Cameron in revenge since she did that. And I'm sure Frank would blame Sharon for Cameron killing him. Of course, soap deaths are easily undone, so Frank's could be undone. All right. Another past tormentor, who is alive and could return at any time, of course, is Ian Ward. Everybody thinks Victor shot him to death, but the former cult leader survived. Last we saw, he was in the ambulance, clearly alive, getting ready to make a break for it. So they brought back Ray Wise very recently, but he was just a hallucination that Mariah was having at the psych hospital. But the writers left Ian alive for a reason, and that may be to come back and do bad things to Sharon again. But there is one last enemy I want to talk about from the past. It's a woman who's supposedly dead and may want revenge on Sharon for killing her. I'm talking about Sky Newman. Now, we all know Young and the Restless likes to bring people back from the dead, but this death was dramatic and insane. If you don't remember this chick, or why she may want payback on Sharon, let me give you a quick reminder. Sky was a friend of Adam Newman's back in the Michael Muni days, and Sky and Adam went to Harvard together. And Sky was there for Adam when he faked his death to avoid criminal charges and ran off to Brazil, and they were hanging out down there. But then he was hauled back to Genoa City to face trial, and Sky followed him, and she footed the bill for Adam to get a top criminal lawyer in exchange for a business proposition. Basically, Sky wanted the Newman name, so he married her. But Adam and Sky had issues, and she slept with Jack Abbott to make Adam jealous, and then later Skye conspired with Victor, and they faked her death to frame Adam for it. Now, back then, at the time, Sharon had fallen in love with Adam and wanted to exonerate him, and Sharon went looking for Skye to prove she was alive and that Adam didn't kill her. So, Sharon found her in Hawaii, and she confronted Skye, and they argued, as one does, at the edge of a volcano. Sharon tried to pull Skye back up when she had fallen like right over the edge, but Sharon wasn't strong enough, and Skye fell to a fiery volcanic doom. Adam was cleared of killing Skye, but then Sharon was charged with it. But they later decided that Skye's death was accidental. That was 15 years ago in 2010. So, yeah, it's a long shot to explain how Adam's ex-wife could survive a lava death. But I mean, come on. They've brought people back from the really dead before. Once Matt Clark is dealt with, I do wonder if they're going to bring back one of these other villains for Sharon to vanquish once and for all.